who is going to direct Episode 9? And Nick, I'm going to start with you. Since I started with David the last time, I feel like that's only fair. So, Nick, who do you think? There's a lot of directors on the table that have already touched Star Wars products, and there's directors that haven't touched Star Wars products yet.
I am I think I first have my list of actors. I think it would be really funny to direct Star Wars, but I never would actually want to see it.
Okay.
I mentioned it before. I think a Michael Moore Star Wars would be really, really entertaining. Very much like very politically focused, and they got to stop global warming on their planet. Really big problems.
You also mentioned the bloody. Oh, who's gonna give us the bloody one?
Come on, you got it.
Oh no, come on. Who was it? Quentin Tarantino.
That was my second choice.
Okay.
For awful actors, I think would be really entertaining to see.
Wow.
Because I just think it'd be a really gory Star Wars film. It'd be pretty intense with some random rock and roll mixed in there. It'd be pretty sweet. And alternative choice, Jet Li. I think would be a very interesting.
Jet Li?
He's
So
from
martial arts.
He's made a lot of kung fu movies about. I think I want lightsaber fights, so I think I'd be a really well orchestrated lightsaber.
Jet Li.
David, who do you want to direct?
And now we're being serious.
Oh, okay, we're being serious now.
We're being
Wow.
serious.
Okay, Jet.
That was a joke. What's the serious one?
I can see James Cameron.
I don't know
He's got a lot on his plate right now, so it's not going to happen. But I think it'd be really good.
No, he's got Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing that many?
Yeah, and he's busy till like 2025.
Yeah, I know he's booked, but I think that's kind of neat. I know which one you want, and I was going to say that too, but I'll let you have that one. I prefer Quentin Tarantino over your...
Okay, I'll give you that one. David, you want to go first or you want me to go?
You
go.
Me go?
You
okay,
go.
so do you want to say Spielberg or do you want me to say Spielberg?
I want to say Spielberg.
Okay, so I'll let you go. Because you and I talked about that the other day, and you got me thinking about it, so I'll let you talk about that. So there are 3 that really pop into my mind then that's not Spielberg. Don't look at me like that.
The more times you mention my pick, the more I'm going to get...
upset?
The more I'm going to get...
So, Guillermo del Toro would be really cool to
Okay.
see him do one of these movies, but he won't do it. He works on like 25 projects at a time, and then only like 3 of them actually hit the screen. So, what he does put out, I really love. So I'd love to see him do it. Brad Bird, do you guys know who he is? He did The Incredibles, he did Tomorrowland, he did one of the Mission Impossible movies. I think it was a Ghost Recon with Simon Pegg in it.
You would have been so good if you didn't mention Tomorrowland, because that was hot garbage.
Well...
But if you're...
But he
Yeah,
gave
the
us
guy
The
in charge of Incredibles,
He gave us The Incredibles, and right now he's doing Incredibles 2,
Yes.
which should be done filming and post-production sometime, maybe by the end of this year, which maybe he could get involved. That's like one of my favorite animated movies of all time, and he did it, and it's awesome. So he'd be a good one. And then here's one that's kind of coming out of left field for me. So on top of being a Star Wars junkie, I'm a Doctor Who fan. And the last 3 years, there's a director named Rachel Taylor who's really just dominated the Doctor Who episodes. And when you look at what she's also done, it's been a lot of like the CW shows. So she knows the fantasy genre. She knows how to really make the stories pop, bring out the characters. And I would love to see her take on a big film like this, and that'd be like a huge promotion for her, but I think she could rock and roll.
Do you think that she could transition well from the CW and the Doctor Who genre to Star Wars? Because Doctor Who sci-fi is a little bit different than Star Wars. And by a little, I mean a multi-million-dollar difference in production quality.
Precisely. But David, you work, and what would you do if I said, hey, you could make your work better if I give you several million more dollars? You'd say, sign me up and give me the money, and you'll be able to put out a better product, right? So if she does an awesome job on peanuts and paper clips and rubber bands in her pocket, just think what she could do with like multi-million dollars to make this happen.
That's a good way of explaining Doctor Who. Okay, so my 2 picks are going to be, as alluded to earlier, Steven Spielberg would be fantastic. He is arguably the greatest film director of all time. Not just of our generation, all time. The guy is busy. He has 2 different projects going right now. Ready Player One is about to hit, or has hit. I think it just finished. I can't remember. Forgive me. It's late when we're recording this. But he's got Ready Player One that he's wrapping up, and he's got a couple other projects in the pipeline. He also has Indiana Jones 5 now?
5, yeah.
that rolls out that I don't think anyone's asking for. But he's doing that.
Ready Player One's in post-production.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And they have not even started pre-production for Indiana Jones.
Is the Halo thing listed on there? Because he was working on
As a director?
That's been talked about for years.
He's been working... They claim it's not been canceled.
And his IMDb credits, there's a TV series for Halo where he's exec producer, and that's been announced. But
yeah,
that's about it.
Still waiting on that one. But for now, you can play with your action figure. I don't think Steven's going to work, though, because I just don't think he would do that based on his friendship with George Lucas. I would make the argument that he could do Episode 9 as a tribute to his friend, you know? And I think it'd be really cool to see Spielberg do that. I don't know if Steven would want to play in that world that he didn't get to create.
What do you think a Michael Bay movie would look like for Star Wars?
I mentioned that last time we kind of
Did
discussed
you?
this. For
Not
for this movie, but for the whole other dumpster fire was happening.
There is a video floating around the internet
Solo.
that I've seen that's like Michael Bay Star Wars.
Where just everything explodes?
Everything just explodes, and there's just it's every CG robot scene and explosions.
I can just imagine that. Hey, we got a love scene to shoot. Get the thermal detonators.
I still think a Jet Li lightsaber scene would be pretty legit, though.
A lot of limbs are lost in that, though. A lot of limbs. And then you have Anakin, like, appear as a ghost and just be like, I thought I had it bad. Another idea that I had, and a lot of people have had this, is what if Episode 9 was the first saga film with a female director? I think this would be a great thing to do. It would be continuing with that, I don't want to say transition, but that evolution of Star Wars storytelling. You know, we're trying to get more women involved in the storylines. We're trying to get more diversity in the storylines. We're going to talk about diversity a few times in this show, but Ava DuVernay would be a good option, I think, to do Episode 9 based on her relationship with J.J. Abrams.
Who's that?
Ava DuVernay. She is the one that, Selma was her big film.
Oh, okay.
And then she's done a few other things. She just wrapped that Wrinkle in Time.
Yep.
She's doing that live action thing. I think that's also a Disney movie. It's a Disney book. So she has experience with larger budget films. But like I was saying just a couple seconds ago, is she has a relationship with J.J. Abrams. She actually worked with J.J. on the script, helping flush out a few scenes. He has even said she would be a great director to direct a Star Wars film. So I would be interested in seeing that. Another name that I'm seeing out there a lot is Patty Jenkins, which seems like a very obvious name because of Wonder Woman. I don't think that's going to happen because one... they're trying to line her up for Wonder Woman 2.
And she's a WB kind of... She's hooked by Warner Brothers already, right?
I would, yeah. I'm sure there's maybe some contractual things there. But at the same time, I think she can put on hold the Wonder Woman 2 thing if she's being offered a Star Wars film.
Well, IMDb's only got her for a TV miniseries in pre-production right now.
Right, they haven't officially said they got her contracted for the second Wonder Woman yet.
They'd be foolish not to, though.
They would be, but if she directed a Star Wars film, who knew? I could really see her doing a standalone in the future if she didn't get a saga film. But those are our picks. I guess before we move on to the last topic, when do you think we will get announced the director of Episode 9? And keep in mind, we have just gone around the table. We have collectively suggested, 8, 9 directors? And we didn't mention Rian Johnson. We didn't mention J.J. Abrams except for when we were talking about Ava DuVernay.
I don't want Abrams to come back.
Why don't you want J.J.?
He did his one.
Yeah.
But he did his one.
He did his one.
I don't need him to do another.
He did a great job for a lot of people of reintroducing the Star Wars story and bringing us back to that galaxy. He put his staple. He did his signature J.J. type things with his movie.
I think since they've already announced his departure, and they have not announced his replacement, I think they might be leading up to a Johnson announcement once he gets done with this movie. Yeah. Because it seems like the cast and crew love him. It seems like he hasn't let as much of the plotline leak as Abrams kind of let leak. So it's been a lot tighter of a ship that he's been running. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do hear a Johnson announcement probably as we get closer to the release of his movie.
Nick, do you think we have Johnson get Episode 9 after directing Episode 8, even though we have not yet seen what Johnson has done with Episode 8? Do we think that's what happens?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, if it's good, I mean, it entirely depends. I think if he would be selected, it would probably be noted probably before 8 comes out to theaters. Mm-hmm. I think we would know by then, but I don't know. I think if they do announce it, it would create more buzz for 8, knowing like, hey, if he's being dropped, it must be good enough.
Mm-hmm. So it has to happen sooner or later. Do you think it happens before or after we get the next trailer for Last Jedi?
Are we ever going to get a trailer for Last Jedi?
You would think it's coming up. I'm thinking it's got to be... I think they're going to tie it in with the NFL season. I think they're going to do it pretty soon.
You got to do something. No idea.
No idea? Dave?
I think they'll wait until after. They're not on a time crunch.
Well, they kind of are. I mean...
When would they start, actually shooting for it? Next year?
Yeah, I mean, this movie is supposed to come out in, let's see, it's 18, so this would come out in 20?
So we have 2.5 years.
Well, okay.
Well, I guess it depends. Are they going to have whoever comes in as the new director also be a writer for it? Or is he going to get handed a script? Because if they're going to have
those are the details that we don't know, because they're still working on this script. And I imagine if you bring in a new director, they're going to want to have some influence on that script.
Because if they don't have to have an influence on the script, they can wait until almost the time they start shooting to bring someone in, can't they? If they've already got it written and storyboarded, they just need somebody to come in and do the legwork.
Technically, so it'd be interesting, especially if they did bring Rian Johnson in, because there were always rumors that he had helped form a treatment for 9, even though that he hasn't said anything recently about it. It would be interesting. I'm kind of thinking that Rian Johnson is Disney's #1 pick right now, but we will see. I think we're going to find out within the next 3 weeks. I think we're going to get a trailer soon. Mm-hmm. I think they have the trailer, and then, hey, oh, by the way, this is our director for Episode 9.
I can't believe they don't have a trailer yet. I feel like we're getting pretty late. I mean, it's already September.
But I'm thinking the trailer is just going to be that good, though. I think it's going to be that good.
I don't think it needs to be good. They just need to throw Star Wars out there, and people will go see it.
I think so. I mean, I think one thing is this movie is just never... It's not going to be as big as Force Awakens at the theater. It's not going to come anywhere close to Force Awakens numbers.
You don't think?
I don't think so. No.
Really?
Think of all the hype that they did, all the marketing they did for Force Awakens. They're not even coming close to that with this movie.
But they don't.
And just like you mentioned,
they've had 2 straight years of fantastic Star Wars numbers and promotion and Star Wars Celebration and E3s.
I know, and it could all go down the toilet with Han Solo in May. Let's jump to the next topic. That was a lot of great conversation. My goodness, that was a lot of fun. It's so great when we can come to the table like that and when we have all these different ideas. Like I said, 9 different directors that we brought to the table that Disney can choose from, and we all know that there's more directors they can pick. I would love to see that Jet Li Star Wars film. That would be really enjoyable.
I know, right?
Thor comes out in October. Marvel
Thor
movie.
does.
Or
November 4th. That's
November 4th. Do you think
a month out.
Do you think the trailer is before that?
That's
It's
the
gotta be
only
before.
thing that makes sense.
That's 5 weeks before the movie release.